Welcome back, and it's time for Entrepreneurship, My Journey. And my guest today has taken the cosmetics and skincare industry by storm. BioTissue Cosmetics began as a startup in the disadvantaged community of Alexandria back in 2012. And just 3 years later, the skincare brand won the Best Product of the Year, beating other well-known international brands. The company has recently opened its own independent store, and we've got the founder, Vusi Silora, who joins us in a studio this evening. Thank you very much for taking the time, and congratulations on the milestones that you've achieved in what many would say is a very difficult industry, beauty, skincare. It's a very saturated market. Tell us why you chose this journey.
The reason why I chose to go into skincare when I left my job at Discovery was I said to myself, what is it that I can do in the skincare to revolutionize the way women look at the skincare? I then realized that women were buying tissue oils and body lotions and mixing to try and get that the easy application so that they can use it on a daily basis, unlike they apply it on the affected areas of the stretch marks. And I then saw a bigger gap that there was no body lotion that had 4 benefits logged in one. That was the benefit of, stretch marks, wrinkles, anti-aging, scars. So that was the birth of it. And we then said, okay, let's pack these benefits in one board. And then that was it. Yeah. And then the skincare started.
Yeah. Fast forward to 2015, you won yourself an award as a top brand, beating international brands, as I mentioned in my intro. What about BioTissue makes you a cut above even the international best?
Right. Basically, what we identified was a lot of people were actually looking for an offering that was totally different from any other person. There are international giants that that we can't mention right now. And then there was a company called, in fact, there is still a company called Nielsen Marketing Research. It does the global brands tracking of which brand that delivers on a promise. So they did a sample size of 5,000 respondents, which was a quantitative method of a study. And then we came as #1 brand that delivers on a promise, and that was it. And from there, we continued innovating, and now we've opened our own bio-beauty stores, and we also empowering people in the disadvantaged communities. As you know, nowadays it's not easy to survive on one source of income. So we have independent distributors, and that's where we've seen a growth. We empower people in the casties, in everywhere, in Kailecha, in Alex, in everywhere people are distributing our products, and we see it as, something that we're giving back to the community.
Yeah, we'll speak about the empowerment, which sounds amazing, in a moment. But before we do, what would you say were some of the biggest challenges that you dealt with? I mentioned earlier that it's a saturated industry. Everyone is in this industry. Anti-aging, stretch marks, scars, you name it, it's out there. What were some of your challenges, that including perhaps financing or whatever else it may have been?
Let me share with you the most challenging that I've encountered, and I think other people will learn from it. When I innovated the skincare, that was in 2012, a year later, it was listed at Checkers and Pick and Pay. But then there was a big giant, everybody knows, I will mention them. I'm not, because we had an out-of-court settlement. BioOil came into the place and said, this thing is confusingly similar. So by then it was called BioLotion, it was not BioTissue. So we had a serious lawsuit that lasted, a couple of years. So I then realized that I'm actually utilizing my finances into fighting something that I can't actually stand for because they are giants. So I had to come back and pay my fees and say, hey, let's have an out-of-court settlement. Let me tweak here and there where you feel I've actually infringed. And that was the greatest setback in my life. Because
how long was that process until you got to a point of settling out of court?
Look, the lawsuit started in 2013, and then we fought until 2018. I think we ran up to 5 years. So that was heavy. IP attorneys, the advocates that go there, they hardly come easy. They're very expensive. So appearance, for that IP specialist to represent you in the trademark fights, it costs you a lot of money.
Did you find it a little bit satisfying that a giant as big as BioOil had noticed you? Did you think to yourself, I think I might be doing something right?
What I then said to myself, although I paid my fees, but end of the day, I got the exposure. It's just like it's somebody coming from Kasi, Alexander, and then you've got a brand, you know, you've got a spaza that you're running, you're trying to get into retail, and Pick and Pay comes and say, hey, you're taking my customers, hey, you. So that gives you that kind of thing that, hey, I came up with something that ticks.
That works, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So tell us about those empowerment opportunities. You've got your first store that you've been able to open. Tell us about that store, the employment opportunities that you've created, whether it be directly by you at the store, but also the distributors who you say are in townships all over the country now.
Yes, we're not only having one. We started with one in Pan Africa Mall, that was in Alexander, where I come from. And then we then went to Durban, and we have stores now that are running in Durban. In Hillcrest, we have a store. We have a store in Watercrest. We open another store right now in Midway, that is in Tuzuma. We're now forming also partnerships with people that have independent stores that can come and be branded to be bio beauty stores. Mm-hmm. So
is that very different from a franchise?
It's a franchise concept, yes. Because for us to give them a full-fledged franchise, we got to belong to FASA, you know, Franchise Association of South Africa. But you still can franchise, but at this point in time, we still need to actually put up the figures so that they are appealing. And then that is available. At this point in time, we're saying any of our independent distributors that are willing for us to come and brand wherever they want us to brand a store, we can give them that, you know, branded and say accredited bio beauty store for bio tissue cosmetics. So we're definitely empowering. We're giving all that support. Yeah.
So you've been able to go back into townships and empower the people who want to be a part of your brand. What are some of the big plans that you've got for bio tissue that are coming up? If you can share.
All right. No, I'm willing to share.
Yeah.
So what I've basically said is, let's continue to innovate. When we innovate, but let's not forget where we come from. As disadvantaged blacks, we tend to actually meet a lot of barrier to entry as in terms of funding and financing, you know. The dominance of economic power from these giants whereby, you know what I mean, sometimes they can shake you a little bit to be scared to run with your dreams. So I say to people in the Kasi, in the disadvantaged, in the high desert community, if you have a dream, run with it. And with us at BioTissue, we've said to ourselves, we'll continue to open stores, we'll continue to have franchises run so that even those guys that are earning the 350 from the government, we want to teach them to actually buy our stock, and that becomes their startup for their business, and they end up owning one of the bio beauty stores.
Brilliant. What a wonderful note to end on. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it, Vusi. That is the founder of BioTissue Cosmetics, Vusi Silora, joining us this evening to say if you've got a dream, don't be scared by the giants, run with it, and everything will fall into place.